Snow layered itself like cotton over the rooftops, glinting under the faint orange glow of sparsely sprinkled street lamps. Inside the Reynolds house, the air was heavy with the scent of pine and cinnamon, the kind procured carefully in holiday-scented tins and candles. The living room, a palette of deep reds and greens, was dominated by an ornate Christmas tree decorated with precision, beads strung tightly, baubles reflecting the warm light of the electric candles. 12-year-old Chloe huddled by the fireplace, the crackling flames illuminating her wide almond eyes as she toyed with the buttons on a brand-new playset doll. The doll had black glassy eyes too large for its face, a dress so finely stitched it seemed eerily lifelike. Chloe hugged it close, wrapping herself in her grandmother's knitted green quilt. She liked dolls. They stayed quiet, obedient. Lately, her life needed a little more of that. Upstairs, her parents' muffled voices rose in shrill peaks, clashing with the occasional dry, rattling laugh of a sitcom on TV. Tonight, she just needed to be somewhere other than up there. It wasn't until the house fell silent that Chloe noticed something was off. The fighting had stopped. The television had been replaced by the relentless ticking of the antique clock on the far wall, the kind her mother often forgot to wind until it was too late. But now, even without the hum of distractions, the room felt louder somehow. The furnace hissed, once subdued, now intrusive and sharp. Across the room, perched on the toy shelf that acted like a shrine to Christmas morning's bounty, the other toys seemed to lean forward in quiet observation. The gaze of the Nutcracker she'd gotten from her aunt seemed sharper than usual. Its painted grin, why did it have such a knowing grin, had taken on a peculiar, disquieting bent. The train set, still running from earlier in the day, clacked in loops around its plastic tracks. The sound was too rhythmic, too purposeful. Chloe told herself she was imagining things, dismissed the creeping feeling at the back of her neck, but her hands clutched the quilt tighter, her nails pinching into the soft weave. The tension shattered when a dull thud echoed from the tree. In the corner of the room, a small tin soldier Chloe didn't even remember owning had fallen face first onto the carpet. From where she sat cross-legged on the floor, she could see its painted eyes staring heavier, more direct, more fixated. Scrambling against the sense of rising panic, Chloe grabbed the miniature figure and set it upright back by the base of the tree. A strange chill spread through her knuckles as the soldier made contact with her palm. Something in her teeth vibrated. Chloe pulled back, brushing off the strange sensation as her imagination. But now, the tension was in the very air of the room, crackling with static, pressing on her temples. Behind her, she felt the faintest shift in the earthy scent of pine, a draft where there shouldn't have been one. Almost instinctively, she turned back toward the bookshelf and saw it. The Nutcracker was no longer facing forward. It had moved, its head tilted just enough to consider her. Its beady eyes glimmered with something new, something keen, something alive. Chloe froze briefly in growing horror, her pulse a stagnant thrum in her ears. But when she finally bolted upright to flee the room, she felt resistance. Her bare foot caught on the train tracks, the locomotive looping dangerously fast now, emitting its sad, tinny whistle. She tumbled back into the shadow of the towering tree, her gaze darting, searching for her escape route. The toys, each and every one of them, had started to converge. Slowly, silently, their unnatural poses broke into disjointed steps forward. They climbed over trinkets, their glossy eyes gleaming under the flickering Christmas lights. Chloe choked back a scream when she saw the doll in her arms earlier, standing erect atop the shelf, its hand outstretched, pointing at her like a tiny porcelain judge. Her grandmother's quilt felt heavy, like it was lined secretly with lead, and the lights on the tree hummed in a sinister rhythm. When she looked up, her reflection shuddering on the ornaments, she saw herself surrounded, shadows stretching unnaturally long against the walls. Upstairs, as if through an ocean of sound, a laugh broke from her parents' room. Only it wasn't theirs. It sounded tinnier, colder, like it belonged to something that wasn't planning on going still again.